the success of Tomlinson is built on its people.
Construction industry is very much a family.
Smoother, better, it's more client friendly, it's easier, more productive.
Like, I think just people hear the name Tomlinson, they know what has gotten around of what kind of a company we are, what we offer.
As you look around the city, the name Tomlinson, it's a kind of a testament to that.
Welcome to Red Army Radio. Today we have Nick Simoneau and Kent MacCaskill, which we're going to talk about growing in the field. You guys have both been with the company or in the industry for a long time and have participated in a bunch of different roles. So why don't we start with that and just a little bit of introduction about who you are, what's your title, what do you do, and how you got there.
So my name's Nick Simoneau, and I'm a superintendent for Tomlinson. And I've been in the industry for about 18 years now, mostly road construction, but a lot of excavation as well. I've been with Tomlinson for 5 years. For myself, I started my career as a heavy equipment operator in a backhoe, and then I did some excavator as well. I did 4 years in a grader, and eventually moved on to a foreman position, which led me to eventually being at Tomlinson and growing into a super role I am now.
There you go. Nice little journey.
Perfect. I started construction back in 1987. When I got out of high school, I started construction. I was laying pipe, doing grade. We used to do grade the old-fashioned way, which doesn't exist anymore, but with wooden sticks and crossheads on the shoulders and a boning rod in your hand, and you would look across and line things up. And I did that work for, we used to put the pipe in, and we would build the road in the company I was with. And one day I got tapped on the shoulder, and the superintendent at the time said, "Do you want to help me out and put the grades up?" So I started putting the grades up as he showed me how. And after that, I realized that surveying was the key and grade work was the key to everything we do in this industry. And I pushed and learned and kept going. And that was a long time ago. So 27 years ago. And now I'm the operations manager here at Tomlinson. And I have workers like Nick and lots of other great workers that are part of my group. And we do a pile of work in a year. And we are successful. I think we're leaders in the industry, and we're all pretty proud to be here.
And what makes somebody successful that they're able to climb the ranks in a company like ours?
So when I watch, sorry, Nick, if you were going to say something, but
Good.
when I watch workers, even when they're first at Tomlinson and they're green and they're just learning, you can see the ones that are actually proud of what they've done. So if it's something like raking granular and they're preparing for a sidewalk or preparing a road and they're raking along the curb and they look back and they see it and how nice it does, how nice a project they, with their accomplishment of listening to the foreman and how the results look so nice, you can see that on workers. You can also see the ones that are just putting in time. So once you recognize the workers that you want to continue to challenge and give work to, the sky's the limit. Some of them grasp and some of them don't. Some of them are quite happy status quo. Some of them are willing to keep asking questions. And those are the guys that we invest in. So, and girls, we've got a lot of ladies in our industry now, which is great. When I started, there was none.
They're really strong workers. It's very refreshing to see that often they're the hardest worker on the crew. They're ready to push. They're happy to be there, and it's really nice to see.
So going back to the whole growth aspect, do you guys have any specific moments that allowed you to grow or that you took on and like you'd say those were key moments in your career?
I mean, for myself, like I haven't been here 30 years, right? But as soon as I started, I knew that I didn't want to just be a laborer. I didn't want to just be the guy with the rod in my hands. So the first job I started on was on Rideau Street downtown in between Sussex and Dalhousie. And I remember the first foreman I worked for here is a good lad. And I think he wasn't too sure what I was going to be like when I first showed up. I'm a pretty confident person, so of course I try to talk myself up when I show up somewhere new, right? But anyways, it didn't take long that he realized that I knew what I was doing. And I mean, I think I got hired in May, and 2 months later I went from grademan to foreman right away. I think that was a key moment for me, where right off the hop I was able to show that I could take control and really push a project forward rather than just being there.
So how, like, I guess you guys had good opportunities because of the people that were coaching you along or mentoring you along, or that you'd report into. Those people were key into allowing you to grow, and now kind of shifted that mentality around. You're in charge of growing the staff around you. You guys recognize those people over the years that helped you grow?
I do. I can name probably 5 names off the top of my head that were key to my development when I started in this industry. The one was the super that tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You're going to help me. Here's my field book. Here's how we calculate the grades." And he was key. I've got other ops managers that I'd worked with in the far past, owners of companies that have reached out and asked my opinion, or that's key to having people grow, is ask them questions and let them solve their own problems. Nick's a perfect example of what I talked about. When you see somebody that has that light in their eyes and they want to excel at what they're doing, they want to be the best. So when you pick those, you can spot those guys. And when you pick them out of the crowd and start developing them,
give them a challenge.
They'll just roll. And Nick is a perfect example of what I said earlier.
And it's right. You meet so many different people in this industry, but when you meet those type of key people, you can, it's something you carry with you for not just the rest of your career, the rest of your life. Like me, for example, since I've been at Tomlinson, like I've always looked up to Kent myself, because I appreciate the way that Kent is, right? He's a go-getter. He's got a lot of drive. He knows what he's doing. So to me, it's nice to look up at those kind of people. And it's like he says, superintendents that I've worked for in the past, not only here, anywhere else. And it was always that same thing I was looking for, is I wanted someone that could show me what I could learn, not just give me orders and walk away, right?
Yeah, give you a little bit of a challenge, or sometimes they know the answer, but they want you to come up with it, right? And they allow you to grow into that space, into your new role. That's the key.
Absolutely. And they let you question it too, right? It's not, you can't be right all the time. So it's nice to have people that appreciate that it's okay if you challenge what they're saying, as long as you're doing it constructively with a decent idea on your side, right? You can't just always be negative and want to challenge everything.
Another way to grow and to gain experience out in the field is through difficult projects. So what was your most difficult project, and what'd you learn from it?
I mean, I think I'm there now. I mean, in the last, about a year and a half ago, we started the Ottawa Hospital parking garage project, and it was not the first parking garage that I had dug or built, but it was definitely the largest and the most complex. It's got a lot of precast concrete. He's got enormous foundations with rock anchors, and I could go on with the multitude of details that have to go into a project like that. And it was a lot of moving parts, and to me it was nice because it was a challenge, right? That's what I really appreciate, is something that I know is not going to be the same old job, just build a road in a subdivision, which is nice, and it's refreshing every now and again, but it's the same old stuff, right? You're not gaining really any new experience from those type of jobs, for myself anyways. And so that parking garage was really a foot in the door to some really heavy construction. And it's pushing me into the project that we just recently got, which is the advanced works for the new Ottawa Hospital, which is just starting right now. And that's going to move in and develop, hopefully, into the largest project in my career when and if we get the actual hospital project.
What about you, Kent?
I think the most challenging job I ever had, and it was probably, if I had to do that job today, I would probably be done easier. But at the time, I was a young foreman. I'd gone to a new company. We had a great big industrial project for a pulp and paper, used to be Domtar in Cornwall, it's a big pulp and paper mill in Cornwall. We had to excavate for a general contractor out of Quebec that we hadn't worked for before. I was new. I was only 5 or 6 months with this company. And I was kind of sold as a surveyor / foreman / worker, laborer, everything. And I was the key guy to go there and shake the world. Well, it was the biggest job I had ever done. It was clarifier excavation for these big round clarifier tanks, excavation for a bioreactor, which I didn't even know what it was. As soon as I read the word, I thought I should be scared. So it was this big, huge square, 3-acre large bioreactor that was down 35 feet. We had to support existing infrastructure that Domtar had to keep their machines cooled and electrical services to keep other machines and other buildings running. And there was existing sewer and water in the area. And it was, it had a lot of challenges. So,
how would you get that done?
I had a good leader. He was basically a role model that I still kind of think about today when I'm making decisions. And he had never done a job that big either, but he was my operations manager or / leader at the time at that company. So he was positive and he let me work. He stepped in 2-3 times a day to see how I was making out. He questioned things when I was doing it and give me alternatives, and I would change my method or support the one I'm doing. He was a real good leader. I was challenged because the drawings were in imperial and some other drawings were in metric. That was a time, I was around 1990 or 91, and drawings in them architects still worked in imperial, and it was, so you had to convert between metric to imperial and do these excavation jobs and put pipe in from other drawings and foundations from other architectural drawings and stuff. And we finished that project. It was a 2-year project. We finished it successfully. I still am proud of it today. Domtar since then has gone out of business and it's all been demoed and turned into a gravel park.
So your job's not.
But back when I did it, I was pretty proud of it. Now it's gone.
That's when you know you spent a lot of time in the industry. When
I guess
projects start to get polished.
When my hair was a different color back then too, and
yeah, me too. I was shorter too. I was about 2 years old back then.
Yeah, Nick doesn't have any jobs that have been demolished yet. I don't.
Not yet.
No, just the temporary ones.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that are supposed to be.
Yeah. Well,
so what advice would you give someone that's a young laborer or maybe a foreman that's has bigger ambitions and is hoping to follow the same path as you guys?
Well, for me, the biggest driving force that I have, and I try and instill it in people, is to never say no to the customer. Is to always be positive, even when it's tough to be positive. Is to have try and resonate a positive attitude to the crews. Lead with humor. You've got to have a bit of a soft approach too, and a firm approach. Lead with humor. Lead with your customers. Let them know you're the professional. Let them know you're going to do everything you can to meet the goal and to get their project done. Always put yourself in their shoes. Know that your customer, this is a huge investment for them, and we're just a small part of it. So try and help them see the light, even if it's a bad job or it's bad conditions or bad atmosphere on a job. Try and be positive. Try and lead with humor. Do what you can to get through it. So that's the advice that I stay positive.
Did it leave anything out?
I mean, that was really good.
You covered it all.
I like to tell a lot of guys to try to turn everything into a learning possibility, right? Try to get something out of anything, and by doing that, even if it's something that you've done 100 times, you're still able to look at it and learn something, and maybe discover something new, and become. There's always a better way to be faster, more efficient. So by being that type of person where you don't think you know it all the time, then you're able to continuously advance and eventually become so good at what you're doing that you get to be the go-to guy for everybody, or girl, sorry. But you get to really show what you're made of, and show that you're able to excel in everything that you do, rather than just learn how to do something and do it okay.
You have an example on the parking garage, maybe, of like a certain task or anything that you guys were doing that came from the bottom up?
Speaking of bottom up, retaining walls.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we have very large retaining walls within that parking structure, which actually becomes the exterior wall. The highest one being about 35 feet high, and these are large blocks, right? They're stone strong walls, and the largest block on that project was about I want to say 17,000 pounds for one block. So these blocks, it's easy to say that it's just like a Lego, and even the consultant on the project would say, you just put the first row and then it's boom, 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 right? It's like anything, but they're actually a quite complicated system, and you gotta start from the bottom and work your way up, right? You have to get that base course absolutely perfect, so it reflects on every single row on the way up. And on that, the guys learned a few times to make sure that the base was absolutely perfect, and to not try to shift the blocks too much on the stone they were laying it on, because, like being heavy blocks, as soon as you shift that block, it moves the stone, and then it changes the angle. And so we picked them up and redid it a time or two. Not always by everybody's liking, but we got it right, and all those walls are almost finished now, and they look awesome.
So how many blocks were in that wall? You must know the number.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't count,
No?
and I don't plan on it.
Seen it. It's quite the sight.
Hundreds.
Hundreds,
Thousands,
definitely.
thousand,
Yeah,
maybe. I mean,
probably almost near 1,000 blocks. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
So, we talked about maybe your most rewarding project that you guys have had in your career so far. Is there one that I'm going to say was the most challenging, but in a way that you changed your mindset on something that you've done it a certain way for so long, and then you shift the way you do things? Like, I'm looking at Ken, it might have been a little bit more of a, the industry's changed over the years. There's a certain light that went off probably in your career where you're, work with people to bring a project to completion, whether that be a sub or anything else, instead of a dictating approach, possibly, right? I just feel like that might have happened throughout the generations.
Yeah, I think I've kind of known in the industry as being someone that's a bit of hard-headed, and I tend to lead by I already know the answers usually, so I tend to give direction. So I've softened that, or I'm trying to soften that. I don't know if I ever will be a nice little cuddly puppy there, but I think a lot of the changes that occur as we grow older, and I'd say this for Nick and anyone at this age, is as your kids get older, you get other trials in life. Other things occur. You're more absorbed in their lives, and you start to realize that that big push and that big strive to be the best, you tend to focus that on to make others better.
Yeah,
and that comes. maybe when your kids become teenagers, or for me anyway, when my kids became teenagers, you could start trying to help live their lives a little bit for them. So that was what, for me anyway, that's when I kind of softened.
I think I don't know if I had too big of a change, but I saw a big change, especially after COVID. It almost felt like pre-COVID, everything was push, and go. And there was that break in time and space where a lot of things slowed down and people had more time to concentrate on life, I guess. And after that, I saw a pretty significant change in the industry on how people reacted to things, how people wanted to get treated, or how people what they wanted to give to an industry or to their jobs, and what they wanted to get back so they can go home, right? So it's been interesting, some at times challenging, but I think we've grown pretty well on learning how to deal with all these different peoples and different types of situations and emotions that people may be feeling.
And what do you guys feel like the company's role into growing people and development and all of that stuff should be, and where can we improve?
Well, to me, and of course I didn't study for this, so the company's role, it's there, but the employees have the bigger role. I find there's a tendency in the industry for people to always want from their company where they're working. There's a tendency to think that they're owed something. We need employees to tell us where they want to be. Don't complain about where they are at. Tell us where they want to be, and the company's role is to help them get there. But they need to identify that they want to go somewhere. It's very easy to do the status quo in the industry. Very easy to put your head down and be as good as everybody else. It's a little harder to get ahead of everybody else, to show you're thinking about it. You're looking back at your work. You want to do more. So those people are easy to identify. The other ones, the ones that are running in the status quo world, and they strive just to be here. It's hard. They need to identify their willingness to step up. And when they do, the company's role, and especially here at Tomlinson, when we identify people and they identify themselves, we move them up. We work with them. There's a tendency in the industry to want to go now. And the patience factor is not always there. We're a seasonal employer and we're a seasonal workforce, but it's there. And it may take a year, it may take 5, it may take whatever, but this company will help grow people that recognize they want to grow and prove it.
Dealing with a huge issue with, skilled managers and skilled people kind of exiting their workforce as they approach retirement, right? So we have no choice but to build from within and find those key stars and actually focus on it now to be able to get that next generation of people in Kent's roles and some of our general managers and things like that as well, right? We had a big shift there. So it's building these people all the way through is super important for the whole team.
Absolutely. And I think that we're in probably one of the best companies to do that, because Tomlinson consistently shows that they want to be there, that they want to push forward to help people grow into what they can do, right? But it's a lot like what Kent says is it says give and take, right? There isn't just one side to the story, whereas the company's job to grow everybody. The people need to want to grow and show where they want to grow so the company can actually help them, right? It needs to be understood that no company wants to take all the responsibility to build people that don't really want to move up, and no worker wants to work for a company that doesn't want to help grow them, right? So it's got to be a team effort.
How do you guys bridge the gap, like with certain technological advancements that are coming to the field, and a lot of these, like for the industry, a lot of this is new, right? How do you
Sorry, that's left to make the cutting room or
start that over if you want? How do you bridge the gap with technological change that we're seeing and kind of the industry being so behind in certain ways 10 years ago and has had a rapid influx of technology with people that are not necessarily used to using it?
I mean, I think with a lot of that technology stuff, we're lucky to be in a time where the younger generation really learns quick on how to use different technologies, on new things that come out every day. They read up a few minutes on it and they learn how to do it right away. So with that, with the people that don't really coordinate well with that type of thing, a lot of them are happy to have a younger person on their team or on site that can help them through. I have a foreman working for me right now that he's approaching retirement, and you can tell that when it comes to cell phones or the GPS or things like that it's a little bit challenging when you have to go through a bunch of different steps to get to the result you're looking for, right? So I'm more than happy myself. Not saying I'm the youngest, but I'm also not the oldest, right? So I'm happy to help him and show him that type of stuff, and his labor is the same way. He'll be very glad to guide him through that. So I think that the age difference we have in our industry is nice because people can help each other that way.
So I guess we're running close to time. Any parting messages for all the listeners?
I mean, I think it's just keep doing what you're doing, keep working hard, and don't be shy to put yourself out there and show people, not just tell people that you want to be somewhere, but show people. The best way to build yourself is to show what you can do and to show that you want to grow. So I think that it's just to get out there and don't be shy.
There we go. With that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Red Army Radio.